Hey guys, welcome to another ranked casted replay. Thanks for hanging out. Today we're going to have myself on the Skaven versus Who You on Bretonnia. Bit of a backstory on this matchup. I just played this guy before this game, and he played Cathay, and I played Skaven also that game, and he kicked my butt with a bunch of Crowmen and Longma Riders and a whole bunch of mobility, Jade Lion, and a Dragon Lord, and absolutely picked me apart. Felt very bad. Felt like I couldn't do anything to him. So I requeued right away, and we actually got him again a second time in a row. So this was my time to try and get a little revenge. He actually went with Bretonnia this time, and we'll take a quick look at the builds. He has the Fey Enchantress on her steed with her healing abilities. He also has a Grail Relic, providing support, leadership, and damage resistant. Looks like a bunch of peasant mobs and men-at-arms, backed up by peasant bowmen with fire arrows. Way out on the flanks, we have some Grail Knights, anti-large, and armor piercing. These are, well, very high armor with 120, so very, very strong shock cavalry. Way out on the other flank, we have the same thing, but these are Knights of the Realm. Also pretty strong anti-large, so good anti-cav there. Not armor-piercing, though. Not quite as good as the Grail Knights. And he also has a unit of Hippogriff Knights. Very strong units, very elite shock cavalry. Causes terror, armor-piercing, 135 weapon damage, magic attacks. So very strong unit, very mobile. Just going to dive in and basically chew up units that it runs into. For myself, I went for a pretty cool build here I wanted to try. It was a extremely heavy ranged build, which was similar to what I took the game before this. So I tried it again. I tweaked it just a little bit, sort of expecting a lot of mobility and stuff, and he does have a lot of cavalry. We'll take a quick look at it. I have a front line of Skaven slave slingers, not armor piercing or anything, but ranged, and there's a lot of them, so probably be good into these kind of peasants and low tier infantry of the Bretonnia. We also have some Skaven slaves, just because I had some leftover money. We have Poison Wind Globadiers. I have 4 of those. I have the Avalanche Mortars, Death Mortars, Regiment of Renown. We also have 4 units of Rat Ogres. In the back line, we have Natty Buboes, Sharpshooters. These guys are stock and invisible with very good range, basically like the best sniping unit of the Skaven. We also have Rattling Guns, another one on the other side here. And besides that, we have our Lord, Throt the Unclean. This guy is anti-large, so I thought he'd be good against Bretonnia with all the cavalry, which are considered large units. So armor piercing, anti-large, regeneration, which is nice, and he also has some buffs for clan Molder units, which would include these Rat Ogres. So I have some heals and some bonus versus large buffs I can put on those guys. So, without further ado, let's get the game started. Right away, Fey Enchantress runs up in front of my units, just doing a little micro, trying to waste some of the ammo of my range units that will automatically start to fire on her. I do take off fire at will so they don't waste, I don't want to waste mortars and Jezzails on this, a very small, fast unit that's hard to hit. I start rearranging my army a little bit. I saw these knights way out on the wing, so I knew he was going to come in trying to hit me from both sides while he pushed the middle. So I move my army around a little bit. I send out Throt. If he can go out and get some hits on the Fey Enchantress, I thought that'd be good. And there's not a big threat out here to him except these Hippogriff Knights, so I do have to be careful. But he's also covered by the Jezzails and all this range, so he's in their range, so he kind of has covering fire for whatever he's up to in the front line. Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm continue to try to circle around to my back line. I am aware of it, so I start rearranging my units, some Rat Ogres. I start facing a few of my range units to the outside, including my Natty Buboes, Sharpshooters, which begin to fire away because they have such good range on these Grail Knights. Put some Skaven Slaves in the way, and we begin to fire. Skaven Slave Slingers, they start to sling away at the first peasant mob approaching, doing really good damage with a little bit of support from, yes, these Poison Wind Globadiers, so these guys get annihilated. This clumped up unit that Throt ran into and held up got hit by a Avalanche Mortar, and it absolutely decimated these clumped up units down down in the ditch, and they just get murdered. They don't have a chance. They're out of the battle already. Hippogriff Knights flying into my back line, jumping right on top of those mortars. He knows that's a very big threat, so he gets right on top of those and gets a charge off from the back. I missed that one coming in. This side, though, I sacrificed my Skaven slaves, no big deal, to take out one unit, and we bring in the rat ogres and some of my other range units to help support to take out the rest of these Grail Knights on that side. Got to start spreading out the ranged units, because if you get all clumped up like that, they can't fire, and they're just easier to take out. Same thing on the left side. We try to get some units cleaned up. Didn't go quite as well. It's a little heavier with Cav. They have the Hippogriff Knights on this side helping out, so I just tried to start backing them up, spreading them out a little bit so they can begin to fire back in and support these Rat Ogres, which unfortunately I'm going to end up hitting a lot of my own Rat Ogres, but the Hippogriff Knights are even bigger, so they should get hit a little more. Skaven Slave Slingers, they just hold up the front line here, run into some Swordsmen. Throt and a few more are here helping back them up. Skaven Slave Slingers actually turn around and begin to fire back into this cavalry, just trying to help out there. We also have peasant mobs and men-at-arms on the other side beginning to move up on the left flank, but we did a pretty good job. We cleaned up his cavalry, we ran it off. We're able to do enough damage. Some of my units he did run off as well, my Poison Wind Globadiers and my mortars, but luckily they come back and get back in the battle here shortly. Fey Enchantress, she's quite deep running in here, trying to disrupt these backline range units, but she also sticks her neck out a little too far there. She doesn't have her Hippogriff Knights or any Grail Knights around with her, so she's now surrounded by Rat Ogres and beginning to take a little bit of a beating here. She's going to have to be careful. Rat Ogre still over here on the right side, just finishing up these infantry units. They'll make short work of these peasant mobs and men-at-arms. That's no big deal for them at all. Throughout the Unclean, just kind of holding up the middle. He starts to come back as I see this isolated Fey Enchantress, and I definitely want to get him back there to help. He's thinking the same thing. He's starting to notice now and probably wants to bail her out. He's sending in a Grail Relic to help support. Meanwhile, on my left flank, Hippogriff Knights, and these are Knights of the Realm, actually. Knights of the Realm and Hippogriff Knights clean off 3 of my units on this side, Skaven Slaves and Globadiers, pushing them off the map into the woods, running off a few other units, so he did a good job cleaning up on this side. Still has a lot of infantry that actually came back, his archers, and a couple of his swordsmen that didn't get hit, men-at-arms that didn't get hit by any mortars at the start. Fey Enchantress, very low. She calls in the backup. She's going to need some help by these Hippogriff Knights. They come in. They're going to try to bail her out, but it might be too little too late because Throt gets here as well right at the same time. He goes onto the Fey Enchantress, and he pops his buff, bonus versus large, creature killer, which is very nice. Him and the Rat Ogres get a nice bonus versus large, and he also pops Master Controller. Actually, sorry, that's a passive ability that he's giving to things around it, plus melee defense and leadership. So a very good combo for taking out large units. The Fey Enchantress is routed off the map, and we continue to push on through to try to take care of these Royal Hippogriff Knights, which, as you can see, can just go around and delete all these low range units that I have around trying to get back into the battle. So we have to take them out. They can pick out a lot of stuff. A few Rattling Gunners get back online, putting some fire down onto these archers. They also took a few volleys from these Poison Wind Globadiers, so they had damage over time, poison, weakened, and some damage from the Rattling Guns. That's about all it's going to take to rout off those kind of lower tier archers. Skaven Slave Slingers holding up these men-at-arms in the back line, just kind of trying to run around, micro around. I was going to shoot at these archers, but they start to rout off, so now I'm just leading them on a bit of a chase with these guys here. Hippogriff Knights are, they rout off there, and with their lord gone and the army losses kicking in, we clean up that one, and we end up beating this guy, which felt good. So I didn't get a game 3, unfortunately. Queued again, didn't get him. But yeah, that was good. It felt good to even things out and bring it back a bit. And this was a very fun, very high ranged build. So a lot of ranged units, but with a lot of ranged units, as long as I kept spreading them out, he couldn't get to them all at once, and they continued to help support each other. Of course, with 4 units of Rat Ogres and Throt being the core to help clean up Hippogriff Knights and Cavalry. So, good game, GG. 1-1 series. If I ever see you again, we'll have to have that 3rd game and see how it goes. But good game to my opponent. Fun game. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for joining, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the comments. Yeah, I love seeing them. I respond to everything. So, we'll catch you guys on the next one, and GG. Might have said GG a little early. I'm not leaving just yet. Wanted to show you guys some of the values here. Had a request that some people wanted to see what kind of work these units were doing when they were in the game. So the Fey Enchantress, pretty good gold value, 1200, quite a bit of damage there. She was running into a lot of range units and cast a few spells, but also did a lot of healing. Royal Hippogriff Knights paying for themselves, doing lots of damage, taking out a lot of units, 114 kills, over 2,000 gold damage value, so that was very good. The Knights all did okay. These Grail Knights did quite good, 1,300 value. Some of them got taken out quick. Some of them were able to take out a lot of range units in the back. Bowman basically did nothing, absolutely no value on those. And all his lower tier infantry units were basically taken out by the mortars pretty quick, so they didn't really do much in the battle. A couple of them got some hits, but nothing worth writing home about. On my side, Throt didn't do a crap load of damage, but he did the damage when he needed to when he got on top of the Lord, so that's all that mattered to me. Mortars did a great job, took out so many units, took them right out of the game right off the bat, so they did a great job. They did their job. Natty Boobos did pretty good. They got routed off pretty early. They struggled to come back and do damage, but still did all right. Everything else did all right. Rad Ogres did great. A couple of them did real good. Some not so much, but they were there doing what they needed to provide support. Basically won every fight they got involved in. Skaven Slave Slingers I was actually really enjoyed using. They're cheap, but there's a lot of them, and you can just kind of throw them at whatever, and they do help chip away doing that damage in the background or holding up the front line. Globadiers did awesome. The gold value, more than paying for themselves, all of them. This one double paying for itself. So really good value on everything. You just got to keep that micro up and keep spreading them out and continue to do damage and support whatever unit's getting attacked that you know won't get away. So anyway, thanks for dropping in, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.